Last Tuesday, a customer paid me $214 to inspect a 21-year-old SUV with 187,000 miles on it. When I finished, I told him something I almost never say: buy it today before someone else does. The frame was cleaner than trucks half its age. The engine sounded factory new. That SUV cost $65,000 when it was built, back when luxury brands were still trying to out-engineer each other instead of out-cheapen each other. He paid $11,500. Today I'm giving you 6 of these overbuilt luxury SUVs from the era before accountants took over, all selling for pennies on the dollar. Number 1 is the most over-engineered vehicle I've touched in 22 years of wrenching. Let's go. Number 6, Cadillac Escalade 2002 to 2006. Stop laughing. I know what you're thinking. Escalade, chrome, rap videos, GM interior plastics, all true. But underneath that flash sits one of the most overbuilt drivetrains General Motors ever produced, and the market has completely forgotten about it. The 2002 to 2006 Escalade rides on the GMT 800 platform, and the AWD models got the 6.0-liter LQ9 V8. This is an iron block LS engine, the same basic architecture that powers Corvettes, and in iron block truck form, it is nearly impossible to kill. No turbos, no direct injection carbon buildup, no cylinder deactivation, that's the important part. GM added active fuel management to the next generation in 2007, and that system became famous for collapsing lifters and wiping camshafts. The GMT 800 Escalade came out before that cost-saving idea existed. It just runs. I've personally seen these engines north of 300,000 miles on original internals. Full disclosure, because I don't sell fairy tales, the 4L60E transmission behind it is the weak link. It's a light-duty unit in a heavy truck, and hard-driven examples can need a rebuild somewhere between 150,000 and 200,000 miles. Budget $2,200 to $2,800 for that, done once, with a better-than-stock rebuild. After that, the truck is essentially immortal. Every other part, suspension, brakes, electronics, is shared with millions of Silverados and Tahoes, which means parts are everywhere and dirt cheap. A complete front suspension refresh costs less than one air strut on a German SUV. Prices? These stickered around $55,000 to $60,000 new. Clean ones today run $6,000 to $12,000. That's a hand-me-down price for a full-size luxury truck that can tow 7,000 plus pounds and outlive your mortgage. Inspection tips. Check for rust on the rocker panels and rear wheel arches, especially in salt states. Check the transfer case for fluid leaks. The pump rub issue is known and cheap to fix if caught early. And test every electronic seat and window, because GM switches from this era fail more often than the engine ever will. Number 5, Volvo XC90 V8, 2005 to 2011. This is the sleeper on the list, and even Volvo people forget it exists. In 2005, Volvo needed a V8 for the American market, but a transverse engine bay left no room for a normal V8. So they did something wonderful. They called Yamaha. Yes, that Yamaha. The result was the B8444S, a 4.4-liter, 60-degree V8, making 311 horsepower, designed by the same company that builds motorcycle engines that rev to the moon and outboard motors that run wide open for thousands of hours in salt water. This engine was so good that Noble later put twin turbos on it for the M600 supercar. In the XC90, running at family hauler load, it's loafing. Paired with a proven Eisen 6-speed automatic, not the fragile GM 4-speed the early T6 models used, the V8 XC90 is the drivetrain this SUV always deserved. And Volvo didn't cheap out anywhere else either. The first generation XC90 has some of the best crash test performance of its era, seats that orthopedic surgeons would approve of, and boron steel in the roof structure. This was pre-Geely, peak safety-obsessed Volvo throwing money at engineering. Here's the insane part. These cost around $50,000 new. Today, V8 XC90s sell for $5,000 to $9,000, $9,000 for a Yamaha-engineered V8 luxury SUV. The market prices it like a random old Volvo because almost nobody knows what's under the hood. Buying tips. Service history matters more here than on the Japanese trucks. Make sure transmission fluid was actually changed. Volvo called it lifetime fluid, which is marketing language for lifetime of the fluid, not the car. Do it every 60,000 miles. Listen for ticking at cold start and check for oil leaks at the valve covers, which is a gasket job, not a disaster. Parts cost more than a Toyota's, but this thing needs them far less often than its German competition. Number 4, Acura MDX 2007 to 2013. The second generation MDX is what happens when Honda engineers get a luxury budget and nobody tells them to cut corners yet. The heart of it is the J37A1, a 3.7-liter V6 making 300 horsepower. And here's the detail that makes this specific generation the one to buy. No variable cylinder management. Honda's cylinder deactivation system caused oil consumption and misfire headaches on other models and on the MDX generation that came after this one. The 2007 to 2013 MDX skipped it entirely. All 6 cylinders, all the time, and the engine is happier for it. The transmission story matters too. Early 2000s, Honda automatics were genuinely problematic, and that reputation is deserved. By this generation, the failures were engineered out. Change the fluid every 30,000 miles with genuine Honda fluid, and that's a $90 service, and these transmissions go the distance. Then there's SHAWD super handling all-wheel drive, which was legitimately ahead of its time. It doesn't just send power front to rear, it actively overdrives the outside rear wheel in corners. This 4,500-pound family bus handles better than it has any right to, and the system itself is durable when the rear differential fluid gets changed on schedule. That's the one service people skip, and the whining rear diff that follows is the most common complaint I see. The fluid change is $80. Skipping it can cost you $2,000. Don't skip it. One honest note, the J37 uses a timing belt, not a chain. Every 100,000 miles or so, you're doing the belt, water pump, and tensioner for around $1,000 to $1,200. Price that into your purchase, then relax for another decade. New, these were $45,000 to $55,000. Today, clean 2010 to 2013 examples run $8,000 to $13,000, and earlier ones dip well below that. For a 7-seat luxury SUV that routinely clears 250,000 miles, that's theft. Number 3, Infiniti QX56 2004 to 2010. Here's a truck the market has priced so low it's almost disrespectful. The first generation QX56 stickered at over $57,000. Right now you can buy good ones for $6,000 to $12,000 and rough ones for the price of a used motorcycle. Why so cheap? 2 reasons. It gets 12 miles per gallon in the city, and the styling looks like a whale wearing sunglasses. Neither of those things has anything to do with how it's built. And how it's built is like a tank, because it basically is one. The QX56 sits on Nissan's F-Alpha platform, full body-on-frame construction shared with the Titan pickup and patrol-adjacent hardware from an era when Nissan still overbuilt things. The engine is the VK56DE, a 5.6-liter all-aluminum V8 with 320 horsepower, and this engine is quietly one of the most durable V8s of the 2000s. Chain-driven, port-injected, under-stressed. It's the same engine family Nissan later dropped into race trucks and the armored patrol. In shop terms, I see these come in at more than 200,000 miles, needing nothing but fluids. One of my regulars has a 2010 with over 280,000 miles on it, and the only engine work it's ever needed was valve cover gaskets. Known issues because every truck has them. Early 2004 to 2006 models had brake judder problems, warped rotors, and a booster issue that Nissan addressed. Exhaust manifold studs can crack and cause a ticking leak, a few $100s to fix properly. And the interior electronics, window switches, the power lift gate, age faster than the drivetrain. All annoyances, none of them the kind of four-figure engine surprises German trucks from this era serve up. It also tows nearly 9,000 pounds, seats 8, and rides better than the Escalade. If you need maximum truck per dollar with a luxury badge, nothing on this list touches it. Look for one with maintenance records, check the frame for rust, and negotiate hard because these sit on lots. Now, before we get to the top two, both of them are Toyotas wearing tuxedos, and there's a reason for that. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe because I've got a whole video coming on the luxury SUVs you should never buy at any price. The list will surprise you. Number 2, Lexus GX470, 2003 to 2009. The GX470 is a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, the truck the rest of the world uses to cross deserts, wrapped in leather and sold to American suburbanites who mostly never knew what they were driving. Body on frame, full-time four-wheel drive with a locking center differential, and under the hood, the engine that defines this entire video, the 2UZ-FE, a 4.7-liter V8 with a cast iron block. Let me explain why that iron block matters. By the 2000s, almost everyone had moved to aluminum blocks to save weight and manufacturing cost. Toyota kept iron for its truck V8 because iron blocks tolerate heat, abuse, and neglect in a way aluminum simply doesn't. The 2UZ-FE is widely considered one of the most reliable V8 engines ever put in a production vehicle. Head gasket failures are almost unheard of. Bottom end failures are shop legend, as in mechanics tell stories about the one guy who claims he saw one once. These engines routinely pass 300,000 miles, and 400,000 mile examples are documented all over owner forums. The 5-speed automatic behind it is equally boring in the best possible way. The whole truck was engineered to Land Cruiser standards, then priced as a mid-size Lexus. Honest maintenance notes. The 2UZ uses a timing belt, so every 90,000 miles, you're spending $600 to $1,000 on a belt and water pump. Cheap insurance on an engine this good. The factory rear air springs are the one genuinely common failure. They sag and leak with age, and most owners convert to conventional coil springs for $400 to $600 and never think about it again. And check the frame. These were built alongside trucks from Toyota's rust problem era, so in northern states, look underneath before you look at anything else. Prices right now, higher mileage GX470s are selling in the $8,000 to $13,000 range, with really clean, well-kept examples around $14,000 to $16,000. That's for a vehicle with a genuine 25-year design life. The overlanding crowd figured this out a few years ago, and prices firmed up. But compared to what this truck actually is, it's still one of the best used vehicle values in America. Who should buy it? Anyone who wants one vehicle for the next 15 years. Snowbelt families. Anyone who tows a boat. Who should skip it? If you care about fuel economy, look away. You'll see 15, maybe 17 on the highway. And the third row is tight. It's a 5-seater with 2 emergency seats, not a true 7-passenger truck. Which brings us to number 1. Take everything I just said about the GX470 and turn every dial to maximum. Number 1, Lexus LX470 from 1998 to 2007. This is the most overbuilt luxury SUV ever sold in America, and I don't say that lightly. The LX470 is a 100 series Toyota Land Cruiser, the actual global Land Cruiser, the vehicle the United Nations, mining companies, and aid organizations bet lives on in places where a breakdown isn't an inconvenience, it's an emergency. Toyota's internal target for the 100 series was famously a 25-year service life. Then Lexus added semi-aniline leather, real wood trim, and a Mark Levinson grade sound system, and sold it here for around $65,000, which is over $110,000 in today's money. Every component tells the same story. Same cast iron 2UZ-FE V8 as the GX470 in a truck engineered with even more margin. The frame is fully boxed and massive. The four-wheel drive system is full-time with a proper low-range transfer case and a locking center differential. The differentials are Land Cruiser units built for decades of abuse. The interior hardware, the switches, the hinges, the door checks, was screwed together in the same era Toyota was building the original LS400, when their corporate obsession was proving Japanese luxury could outlast German luxury. Open and close an LX470 door sometime. It sounds like a bank vault. That's not an accident, that's money spent where you can't see it. Here's what that translates to in my shop. LX470s and 100 series Land Cruisers come in for fluids, brakes, and timing belts. That's the pattern over and over, deep into the 200,000s. The engine doesn't burn oil, the transmission doesn't slip. The electronics, even the 25-year-old ones, mostly just work. When something does wear out, it's usually suspension bushings or steering rack seals, normal wear items on any quarter-million-mile vehicle, not design failures. Now the honest part, because an overbuilt truck still has one expensive trick up its sleeve. The LX470 came with AHC, active height control, a hydraulic suspension that raises and lowers the truck. When maintained, meaning fluid changes every 60,000 miles that almost nobody does, it lasts a long time. When neglected, the globes and pumps fail, and a full repair can run $2,000 or more. The good news, the fix everyone uses is converting to conventional Land Cruiser springs and shocks for roughly $1,500 to $2,500, which makes the truck simpler and arguably better. When you're shopping, an LX470 with dead AHC is a negotiating weapon. Knock the conversion cost off the price and buy it anyway. Your inspection checklist. 1. Timing belt records. If there's no proof it was done in the last 90,000 miles, budget $800 to $1,000 and negotiate accordingly. 2. Crawl underneath and check the frame, especially if the truck lived in a salt state. 3. Cycle the AHC through its height settings and watch how fast it responds. Slow or uneven movement means the system needs attention. 4. Check the heater tees under the intake area on higher mileage trucks. They're a cheap plastic part that gets brittle, and replacing them proactively costs little and prevents a coolant mess. Prices. This is the only truck on this list the smart money has already started chasing, because Land Cruiser people know exactly what it is. Higher mileage LX470s, and on this truck, 200,000 miles is genuinely midlife, run about $10,000 to $16,000. Cleaner, lower mile examples climb toward $20,000 and beyond, and pristine ones have become collector items. Compare that to what a new luxury SUV loses in depreciation in its first 2 years alone, and the math is absurd. You're buying a flagship with hand-built quality and a 25-year design life for the price of a base Corolla. If I could only own one vehicle from this entire era, one machine to drive for the rest of my life anywhere on earth, it would be an LX470. Nothing else on this list, and honestly, almost nothing built since, was engineered with that little compromise. So there's your list. The Escalade with its unkillable iron LS. The Yamaha-hearted Volvo nobody remembers. The MDX from Honda's sweet spot. The QX56 that's priced like the market is insulting it. The GX470, a Land Cruiser Prado in a suit. And the LX470, the last luxury SUV built like cost didn't exist. Because for Toyota's engineers back then, it basically didn't. Every one of these was built before lifetime fluids, plastic engine internals, 10-speed complexity, and subscription heated seats. The accountants won eventually, they always do. But the trucks from before that surrender are still out there, sitting on used lots, priced like ordinary old cars. Now you know they're not. If you want the other side of this coin, the luxury SUVs that look like bargains and will absolutely destroy your bank account, that video is right here. Like this one if it helped, subscribe for more straight talk from the shop floor, and take care of your car so it takes care of you. I'll see you in the next one.